Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the Love.Live.Dance Friday Learn to Dance at Home stream. We've got to come up with a better name for this concept. But hopefully you had a lovely week. Everybody is still happy and healthy and we're staying at home. And today we are going to go over the American Waltz. Problem with the stream?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me or if I'm talking to myself. Because apparently things are weird. Okay, we're going to assume that everything is fine. So we're going to do American Waltz today. If you were here for our first ever Dance at Home lesson on Friday with the American Rumba series, the first couple patterns are going to be very similar. But we're going to be talking a little bit more about technique tonight, and then we're going to get it traveling as well. So if you were here for my tango lesson, we mentioned that we're in a 10x10 space. If you have more space or less space, we will talk about adapting it to your individual situation. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So we are going to start with a left box step. I'm going to be showing this or demonstrating this from the leads perspective, but follows, we're going to be doing the exact same thing. We're just going to flip the order. So if I'm going forward on my left, you'll be going backwards on your right. As the lead is going backwards on their left, you're going to be going forward on your, or backwards on the right, you'll be going forward on your left. It'll make sense here in a second. So we're going to start going forward on the left. We have 1. We're going to take a side step for 2, and then I'm going to close my feet for 3. Then I'm going to take a step backwards on my right for 1, side for 2, close my feet for 3. So again, I'm going forward left, side together, backwards right, side together, forward left, side together, backwards right, side together. If I turn around so that you can see this from the follows perspective, we're going to start backwards on the right. We have back, side together, forward on the left, side together, backwards on the right, side together, forward left, side together. All right. Do we want to go ahead and try that together, darling?
Sure.
Okay. Any issues I need to be concerned about, or so far so good?
What, with my ability to do this? No, I assume that you're fine.
Okay. All right. So Matt is going to be going forward on his left. I'm going to be going backwards on my right. And we're going to go to that old trusty standby frame where we're thinking beach ball with the hand lifted for the lead and my hand resting on his bicep.
Can I ask a probably obvious question?
Yeah.
So I don't know how many weeks ago it was now we did rumba.
It was the first week,
Rumba?
5 weeks?
Whatever.
I think this is week 5.
Isn't it exactly the same?
It is exactly the same, kind of. So the placement of the foot, or the checkpoints of the foot are the same. We're still going forward on the left and still going backwards on the right. But I'm counting this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
So it's in 3, 4.
Okay.
More similar to our wedding waltz.
Okay.
How we were counting that.
Sure.
The rumba was slow, quick, so it was in 4, 4.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, and I haven't talked about it just yet, but how we actually take those steps is going to be dramatically different.
Okay, so for now I'm just taking the same steps. And then
for now you're taking the same steps.
Okay.
I'm just going to count it slightly differently.
Okay.
Yep.
Beach ball.
Right, beach ball. So forward on your left, I'm going backwards on my right. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So far, so good.
Yeah. There's no real magic to it yet.
Excellent. So if you want to do it a little bit more technically correct, if you are a student of mine or a competition student or a social student, Waltz is all about the rise and fall. I mentioned it last week with tango. Tango is all fall, so we're all down into our knee. Waltz has a rising action and then a falling action. So I start low, I come up on my toes, and then I come back down on my left. So it's a little bit of a leg workout and a whole body workout. I'm only going to demonstrate this once. If you are currently using headphones, I want you to turn down the volume, and then you're going to realize why I'm not going to demonstrate this correctly the rest of the night. We do a heel lead going forward in waltz, and I'm going to drag my toe as I go to the side. So, and again, I apologize because this is going to sound like nails on a chalkboard for some people. I lower, I'm going to push with my standing leg. So I'm pushing that foot and heel across the ground. Then I'm going to drag the toe, land up on my toe, pull my legs together on my toe, reaching my highest point on 2 and then lower down on my inside leg for 3. Then I'm going to go back, pulling the toe off the ground, dragging the heel to close. Take the toe to the side, come up and over, bringing that foot together, and then lowering again. So I have, and 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. But as you could probably hear, that's really loud on this floor.
It's certainly loud for me standing next to you.
Yeah. So I am not going to be as technically correct as I probably should be tonight, just because I know that's an unpleasant listening experience.
Yeah, it gives me an out.
And it gives you an out. Well, so even if I'm not doing the correct heel push, I'm still going to be doing my ankle and my body rise. So I'm still going to be creating a lowering effect before 1, rising through 2 and then coming back down on 3. But from a beginner's perspective, you absolutely don't have to. Yeah,
you're fancy. I'm not. So what is the obligation or the expectation on my part?
Stay on time.
Okay, I can do that as long as you keep counting it.
And I would like to see a little bit of a lower and an up and a lower and an up.
Where? I wasn't paying attention because I thought I was getting out of it.
You thought you were getting out of it.
Yeah.
So as you go to take your step forward on 1, you're going to be down into your knee. So think your tango sitting on a bench. You're going to stay low on 1.
Oh, okay.
Then, because you're doing the beginner method, you're going to come up on 2, close your feet, and then lower back to that awkward bench.
Okay.
Low, up, down. Low, up, down. Low, up, down.
Let's get there later.
Okay.
I'm already lost.
We'll ease into that.
Yeah.
Well, how about we switch it up and we add on a different pattern?
Sure.
So again, if you were here for the rumba lesson, this is going to feel very similar in the beginning. So we have our stationary box or our left box. We're now going to add on our rotating box to the left. So I'm going to step forward on my left, quarter turn, side together, quarter turn as I come backwards underneath, side together, forward, left turning out, side together, backwards underneath, right, side together. And we talked about in the rumba about I'm turning my left foot out to the left when I'm going forward, swinging through to finish my 90-degree turn. Then I'm turning my right foot underneath. So I'm turning underneath my own body, side together to go another 90. Then I continue out, side together, in, side together.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
So when we did the tango and whatever the thing was before the tango, cha-cha, when we were rotating, you made a big deal about only rotating on the forward or only rotating on the left or whatever it was, but not when we were going the other direction.
Okay, let me clarify. Not cha-cha, not tango, wedding, waltz, nightclub two-step,
Is that what it was?
and bachata last night, or bachata Wednesday night. Yeah, in the wedding stuff, I talked about only turning one direction and then leveling off.
Yeah.
That's because in those cases, you're doing it on the spot. You're rotating around a single pivot point. In this case, in our ballroom, in our social dance, in our waltz, I am moving and traveling as I'm rotating.
Okay.
So I'm moving as a partnership around an object
Okay.
rather than being the object that my partnership is turning around.
Okay.
Two completely different rotating concepts.
Okay.
I want you to keep them separate in your mind.
As long as you tell me they're separate.
Yes, so you're going to be rotating both the first half and the second half.
Okay. I can do that.
Let's go ahead and try that together. So we'll do one basic, just to make sure that we're moving and grooving. And then we'll do 4 consecutive turns. So 1 in place, and then 4 90-degree turns.
So 1 full rotation.
1 full rotation to get back to where we started.
Okay, that's what I need to know.
Yep.
All right, beach ball.
Yep. All right, and we have 1, 2, 3. Ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me.
Yep, not bad.
Okay.
Let's do it one more time, just to make sure that wasn't a fluke.
Move this way just a smidge.
Yeah. Are we running into the couch?
A little bit.
Okay. We have 1, 2, 3. Ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Very nice.
All right.
How's that feel?
It feels indistinguishable from the rumba.
Okay, that's because you're not doing proper technique.
That might be the case.
And I haven't put on the music yet.
I don't know that I even know the difference in the music, but
I would be shocked if you didn't. You might not. There's a potential there. Let me know if you are following along with us at home, if you have any questions or need me to clarify anything. I'm kind of going through this with the assumption that most people were here for our rumba lesson. So if you need me to go back and clarify anything because maybe you weren't here, maybe you missed that lesson, let me know. And I'm actually going to have Matt check in with the chat just because I'm seeing a couple messages go by. So I want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody. We're going to go ahead and switch to the underarm turn. So far, so good?
Someone says one of us is lovely.
Oh,
I'm going to assume it was for me.
Definitely for you. All the praises for you.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and do the underarm turn for the follow. So from the lead's perspective, we're just going to do 2 full stationary boxes. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3. As I go back on my right the first time, I release my right arm and lift my left hand, so I create space as I step back, side together, continue, 1, 2, 3, and then as I step back the second time, I'm going to bring my partner back into frame.
You know what that sounds a lot like? The rumba.
The rumba, it does.
So I think I'll manage.
All right. For the follows, just again, in case you weren't here or you need a quick refresher, we're going to do the back half of the box first. So we have a 1, 2, 3. Our partner's going to create space, but our first step has to be directly forward. So we're going to still step forward for that 4, and then I'm going to take 5 more steps around an invisible hula hoop to my right. So I have 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then continue, 4, 5, 6. Yeah?
I guess. I have the easy part, so.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Let's try it. We'll just try that, go straight into that underarm turn on its own.
Okay.
And then we'll put all 3 of these patterns that we already know to music.
Sure.
All right.
Beach ball.
Yep, and I'm going to actually have to have you take a half step forward.
Okay.
So you have 1, 2, 3. Ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6.
I may have figured in a little bit too much on your rumba that time.
Just a little bit. Do you want to try it one more time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And you have 1, 2, 3. Ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Very nice.
All right.
Very nice. Any questions before we try it with music?
No, not yet.
Okay. So with music, Let's do one basic, a full rotation of the box, one basic to recover, and then an underarm turn. So basic, turn it 360 degrees, basic, underarm turn.
All right.
Okay. And we will put on some music.
And maybe after that we can talk about this rise and fall thing. I'm starting to feel a little bit guilty that I'm cheating.
We can definitely talk about that.
Talk about it very briefly.
Very, very briefly. The shortest possible amount of time that we have to talk about it.
Yeah. Because I don't think it's going to be pretty.
It might be. That's fast.
Yeah, that's... You know my one rule is you can't play music that's like 50% faster than what we just practiced. Beach ball.
1, 2, 3, ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rotate. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, underarm turn, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Nice. Let's do that one more time, just because I like waltzing with you.
Sure. Beach ball.
1, 2, 3, ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You wake up less after and mess it up.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Nice.
May have forgot my timing a little bit there.
It wasn't so much the timing. I think I purposefully did not anticipate a rotation.
Yeah. So normally I complain about being backled, and then you chose not to backlead me, and look where that got us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience for both of us. Yeah. So you wanted to talk about the rise and fall a little bit.
Yeah, a very small amount.
Okay.
Just because I feel like I made so many jokes about this being identical to the rumba that now I'm treating it like a rumba, which is probably wrong.
Yes.
So I should probably fix that.
Yes. So we use the term rise and fall, and most people focus on the rise. I, for my students, try to get them to focus more on the fall. If you think about it like a roller coaster, the reason why the peak looks so high is often because the valley is very close to the ground.
Okay.
You can't have one extreme without the other.
Okay.
If you start off at base level and you go to your highest point, well, that didn't feel like, it doesn't appear to be a whole lot of a change. But if I start lower and then I rise all the way up to my top, it looks much more
dramatic.
Dramatic, exactly. Yeah. So you can focus on either or both.
Which one's easier?
Depends person to person.
Right. Tell me what I need to know, and then I'll decide which one's easier, and I'll choose to do that one. How about that?
Okay. So my challenge for you, and my challenge for the people at home, since we just came out of tango.
Okay.
And I know that everyone was practicing staying low on an awkwardly high bar stool.
Yeah.
And staying back.
Yeah, apparently my posture's bad. That's what you get.
I want you to focus on low right before count 1. So we refer to it as a 3 and. So I go 1, 2, 3, and I'm at my lowest point. So that way when I transfer on 1, I'm nice and low. So I want you to focus on the lowering action. So we have 3 and 1. And then you can come back up to your neutral position to 3 lower.
Wait.
1.
You said back to neutral. Was there not a high?
I'm taking the high out for the moment.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I got to hear. Then what? I'm sorry.
So you're on 3.
Sure.
And 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6.
We'll see what happens, but let's move on from there, and we'll see.
Okay, all right. Well, that's also going to be homework for people that are practicing along with us at home. Is if you want to take it to the next level, practice your fall and then add back in your rise, because I think it's easier for most people to just do the rise and not do the fall.
So it's easier for most people, but that's not the piece you showed me when I said, "What's the easy piece?" I feel like I've been cheated a little.
It's the one that most people need to work on. Is the lowering action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially you, because you have a tendency to stick your butt.
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
Yeah. So the thing that makes waltz, and the thing that makes waltz very different from rumba is that it is a traveling dance. It's part of our smooth or our standard family. So right now, everything that we've been doing has been stationary. We need to start traveling it.
Okay.
So we're going to add in a progressive basic. Progressive meaning moving forward, basic based on the basic. So we're going to start with the top half of our box.
Okay.
So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, the same as you would in your normal basic. So we have 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Okay.
Now from here, your right foot should be free. Instead of stepping back, I want you to step forward. So we're going to step forward, side, together. And then again, forward on your left. 1, 2, 3. And again, forward on your right. 4, 5, 6. Yes.
Okay.
We'll talk about how to navigate it around a small space.
I was going to say, we appear to be out of space at that point.
Yes. So let's do that again. So we're just going to do 2 full sets or 4 halves moving forward in the space that we have. You may have more space or less space at home. So we have 1, 2, 3, forward on the right, 2, 3, forward on the left, 2, 3, forward right, 2, 3.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Most of the time.
Going backwards now. And actually, I'm going to have you do this as well.
Okay.
So most of the time, it's the follows that have to go backwards, but because we're in a small space, I'm actually going to have us both do it. So we would be starting backwards on our right, typically to start. So we're going to go back on the right side together, and then step back on the left.
So it's just the half of the box that
together.
I lost.
Exactly.
Okay.
2, 3, and then left, 2, 3, and that's where we're going to stop because there's a TV behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's do that backward walk one more time, and then we'll put it all together.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to go backwards on the right. 1, 2, 3, back on the left. 4, 5, 6, back on the right. 1, 2, 3, back left. 4, 5, 6. So far, so good, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to demonstrate the forward drive because it's going to sound terrible on this floor. But if you are practicing at home, please do make sure that you are lowering, you're pushing, you're doing all of your proper technique if you know how to do your proper technique. So let me dance that with you.
Okay.
We're going to do 3 forward and then 3 backwards. So 3 halves, 1.5 full forward, and then 1.5 full backwards.
Okay. Beach ball?
So you're starting forward on your left, I'm going backwards on my right.
Sure.
And we have 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, switch. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, and then we could switch and go forward again. Yeah?
Yeah.
So if you are in a narrow space, if you're in a hallway, this is a good alternative for you. So you can go forward, and then you can work on coming backwards. Let's do that one more time. All right, and we have 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. Yes. Very nice. Now, practical application. We would never do what we just did on a social dance floor because we would be going against traffic as soon as you went backwards.
Okay.
So on a regular social dance floor, you have to always travel counterclockwise.
Okay.
So for this floor, for the space that we are in, for you and me to practice, and again, you might have to adapt it at home. Let's do 2 progressive basics, 2 halves. Then we're going to do a quarter turn, straight back, so regular back half. 2 forward, 1, 2, quarter turn, back, straight back, 2, quarter, straight back.
Okay.
All right? Let's try it.
I mean, I hear the words. We'll see what happens.
All right, so we're going to do 2 progressives and then a quarter turn. And we have 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, quarter turn, quarter, small back step, back, half, repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We turn a 1, 2, 3, back 4, 5, half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quarter, 1, 2, 3, half, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quarter, 1, and half. Nice. You're unimpressed.
No, I mean, I recognize that I'm cheating by leaving like most of the technique on the floor.
You really aren't though, because you're stepping forward with a heel lead.
Am I?
You're walking forward.
If I'm doing something right, it's by accident.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll have the instant replay where I can blow up and zoom in on your feet and then circle the fact that you're doing a heel lead.
Yeah, we could do that now. I just don't know that anyone would be happy about it.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be good. No, so you're not doing it. You are not cheating at 90% of the technique. You're just taking the rise and fall out of it.
Yes.
Which is not the end of the world.
I'll take your word for it.
It's something that I would like to pursue a little bit more, but I'm not mad when it doesn't happen.
For waltz lesson 2, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. The other thing that I really want to key in on, just in case folks at home that are practicing with us run into this issue, because we did tango, you were doing a fantastic job of making sure that when you were taking your right foot forward, it's going directly between my feet. So on that 4, the 4 count in our progressive, you're stepping in between my feet. That might not be intuitive if you weren't here for last week's tango practice. So
it wasn't intuitive for me. I didn't realize I was doing it.
So just to kind of clue in on this for the folks at home, we're going to do our first 3 steps, forward on the left, I'm going backwards on my right. 1, 2, 3, and then on this 4th step, because we're offset, Matt is just going to take a step directly forward, and it's going to go in between my feet. He's not going to try and avoid my foot. He's not going to try and step around my foot. He's just taking a forward step, and then we travel together. Yeah? So again, if we turn this way and demonstrate the same thing, so we're going to do our first 3 counts. 1, 2, 3, and then on 4, he's stepping directly forward. He's not trying to shoot around my foot at all.
Not on purpose, at least.
Yeah, and that's an important thing because the most often issue that I find with students that are first starting with their progressive basic is that the lead is trying to avoid the follow's foot or the follow is trying to avoid the lead's foot. And if you just trust in your frame and you trust that you're offset for a reason, you won't have to worry about that at all. Yeah. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
Now, I know you almost played a different song, and you stopped yourself because it was too fast, you said. So does that mean that most of what we've been doing is at a slower speed than it should be?
So that's the interesting thing about waltz, is there's a huge spectrum when it comes to tempo. We talked about it with the wedding waltz, that there is this category called Viennese waltz, and then there's waltz, whether it's American or international. Between American and international, even the tempo is a little bit variant. if you're a social dancer, if you're a bronze competitive dancer, if you're a silver competitive dancer, if you're a gold competitive dancer, those tempos are going to be either faster or slower. So waltz, you can have a wide variety as long as you're in that 3/4. You don't want to be doing what we're currently doing at your Viennese tempo. So you want to find something a little bit slower, but how slow or how fast is really going to depend on kind of the style that you're dancing, the patterns that you're dancing, your teacher's preference, your preference on what's comfortable.
Okay. I wouldn't know a waltz if I heard it, unless you told me it was a waltz. But when I hear the word waltz, I just assume it's going to be slow.
And most are. In my experience, the more advanced student I'm working with, the slower the tempo I try to find, because that gives my student the time to really hone in on how am I lowering, how am I articulating the ankle, how am I stretching through the body, how am I creating counter shape and sway and swing and all of these high level techniques. For beginners, if I go too slow, it feels painful, it feels sluggish, it feels uncomfortable. It gives you too much time to think and overanalyze.
Yeah, so I don't think that's a risk here.
I tend to go a little bit on the faster end of the spectrum for my beginner students.
All right. Now, but that raises the real question, though. The next song you play,
yes,
is it going to be faster?
Would you like it to be faster or would you like it to be slower? Because I feel like the song that we used was pretty good.
Okay, then let's just keep using that and I won't worry about it.
Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and try this with music.
Okay.
So we'll do our 2 forward, our quarter turn, our 2 forward. Perhaps in corners, what would that be? 2 and 4. I'll have you do an underarm turn.
Okay.
So straight, turn it. Straight, turn it, underarm turn.
So is that going to be an underarm turn on the back half after the rotation?
Do you want it in place of the rotation?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, let's up your game for just a moment.
Sure, let's.
So I want you to do the first 6 counts of the underarm turn like normal. Okay. So half of a box. 1, 2, 3. You're going to release. 4, 5. Pause. Instead of going directly forward, I want you to do a quarter turn to meet me halfway here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, and then step back. 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Yeah, super easy, right?
Well, I don't do anything different.
Well, you do a quarter turn.
Well, I was going to do a quarter turn already, anyways.
Yeah.
So the only thing I got to do is remember to lift my hand.
Yes.
And everything else you just take care of.
Yes.
All right, I can manage that.
Excellent. So on corners 2 and corners 4, we're going to do the underarm turn with a quarter turn.
Okay.
So for those of you that are practicing along with us at home, you're doing the first 6 counts of an underarm turn, and then as a lead, you are going to do a quarter turn and then step back for the remainder 4, 5, 6. Follows, our footwork does not change at all. We're just going to not have to travel nearly as much, which is kind of a nice change of pace. All right, let's try that with some music. Waltz looks good, thank you. We are trying, and Matt's doing a really good job. He's in week 5 of this now, so.
Each ball.
Each ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. Quarter turn. 1, 2, 3. Back 4, 5. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Underarm. 1, 2, 3.
Wow, I forgot what I was supposed to do.
5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 2. Quarter turn. 1, 2, 3. Back 4, 5. 2 progressives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Underarm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go one more lap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Underarm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice. You're doing well, hon.
Yeah, again, it was very similar to what we were doing the previous time. Other than me forgetting, the first time around what I was supposed to be doing.
That's okay. You jumped right back into it. And that first time in motion, when you try and do the underarm turn as a corner movement, can be a little bit of a mind game as well.
I have this Pavlovian response now when you say underarm turn. I just raise my arm. And it doesn't really matter what count it is or anything else. I just raise my arm. And that was way too early.
Yes, yeah. When I call it out or count it out, I call it as you're going into the first half to give you enough time to go, what's an underarm turn? Oh, right, I'm supposed to lift my hand as I'm stepping back. So I also call it a little bit early, specifically to give leads enough time to kind of figure out what in the world they're supposed to be doing. So something that we haven't really talked about is the lead and follow dynamic. Because one of your very first questions on the very first night was, you're a professional dancer, I'm not, how in the world do you know what I'm supposed to be doing if you're not calling it out, right? So I think my kind of snippy response at the time was, just do what you're supposed to do and I'll know, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So let's talk about the rotation aspect of it, and let's also talk about how to lead the underarm turn if you are in this progressive movement. Because very rarely in a waltz are we going to be stationary for long periods of time. So rotation, whether you're doing a full rotating box and you're coming back, or whether you're just doing 90 degrees in the corners as a way to turn to a new line of dance. It's very important as a lead that we are engaging our lats in our back, that we're lifting our frame, and that we're creating pressure with our partner so that as you go and you turn your whole body, starting from your spine and your sternum to your left, that is creating pressure in such a way that the follow knows to move with you out of your way. If you just move your body and you don't move your arms, that signal isn't going to transmit. And if you just move your arms and not your body, then you're going to be offset and askew from your partner. Does that make sense?
I mean, you've said that many times, and I've nodded my head every single time you've said it. I understand it as a theory. I don't know that I do that.
Okay, well,
I'm sure I don't do that. Let's be honest here.
Well, let's put it to the test. So I was not planning on doing this tonight, so I don't have a blindfold easily available to me. But I'll close my eyes, and I'm just going to give you. I'm going to put on music.
Okay.
I'm going to start counting, and then at some point out of the regular basic, so we'll just do a bunch of stationary basics. Whenever you want to, I want you to try to rotate. And it can be a quarter turn, it can be a full turn, however much rotation. You are the leader, you are in charge.
Sure.
And we'll see what happens. We'll see what shakes out if you run into issues.
You're still going to count though, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because if I lose that piece, I'm completely hosed.
Go ahead and move to like this under the floor.
Alright. Beach ball.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not bad.
I guess. I mean,
was there ever a moment where I didn't react in the way that you were intending me to?
No. I feel like that is, however, the easiest thing to probably lead into. And we have taken all of the other things off the table, which means if I try and move, it's pretty clear where we gotta go.
Okay, well, at the very end of the lesson, I will just put on some music and count, and I will have you navigate around this floor in whatever combination you want.
Oh, let's not. Let's not. Let's save that for a different day.
Okay, we'll do a whole day on just lead and follow dynamics.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot there.
No, you did really well.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say, and it's feedback that, again, I give my students all the time, so you are 100% not alone in this.
Mm-hmm.
You do a lot of upper body work. You go to the gym, you do biceps, you do triceps.
There was
Not
a
at the
time
moment.
5 weeks ago, perhaps.
Yeah. 2 months ago, you were going to the gym fairly often. But you are used to using your biceps and triceps and pecs in workouts. Yes?
Sure.
Okay, so for me...
You make me sound like I'm some gym rat that spends all of his free time in the gym. That's not the case.
No, but you do go more often than I do, which is not a good thing. For me, not for you. It's great for you. It's really bad for me. What I was going to say is if I close my eyes and I'm really just focusing on the feeling of the dance, yes, this is going to get a little hippy-dippy for a moment. I feel you holding your frame, and therefore you holding me, more with your arms than with your back, and you are pulling or grasping my hand rather than pushing. So in other words, when
I think that's a perfect description, because I have no idea what else to do, so I just sort of manhandle you into the turn.
Right. So if you get into your frame for a moment,
Beach ball.
just to kind of translate what's happening in my head for folks that are watching, I get a lot of backwards pull from this hand rather than forward pressure. And then I'm feeling the lead come from here, from like these two spots, rather than coming from your center. So as a follow, and again, it's because I'm sensitive to these things, I want to feel the center of your chest, of your sternum, be a blinding light. Be like, this is where I'm moving from, and right now I'm getting hot spots on your arms and your hand, but not from your center.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess off stream I can work on channeling my chi a little bit more efficiently. I don't know. I don't know what to give you what you're looking for at the moment, and it's going to be way too tedious for the people listening to probably.
Well, so here's a really, really, really quick 30-second thing that you can practice if you have a partner at home and you're running into similar issues.
Okay.
Or just so you can kind of feel what I'm talking about. So I want you to step forward. Yep. And you can either have your feet together or slightly apart. It's not going to impact us. We're gonna put our hands high five position. Yep. Just nice, comfortable. I wouldn't go too high and I wouldn't go too low or too out. Just kind of a nice in between pattern. Okay. And you can't hold or pull my hand. You have to only push forward. Not so much like you're doing a full push up, but just like a hey.
Okay.
A little bit less. There you go. A little bit less. There we go. Okay. So. Move your weight so it's on the front of your foot. So the pressure is going to increase, right? Go to the center of your foot. Go to the back of your foot. Almost nothing there, right? Come to the center. Forward. Center. Back. So this is way too light, right? Both of our centers are away. So my job as a follow is if I feel that you go there, I'm going to come to the front of my foot to maintain. If you come back to your center, I'm going to let go and come to my center. And then if you come forward, I'm going to go to my back to maintain the same amount of pressure. So we don't want to super increase pressure, and we don't want to super release pressure. We want to find that happy medium in between.
Okay. I hear the words you're saying. I just don't know the technique to get there, I guess.
We will have a whole workshop coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is
about lead and follow.
This is week 5 of my home confinement, and it's year 20 something of you doing this. So
year
just
10 of the ballroom dance.
Be easy on me. That's all.
Yeah. No, I am. I am not being any more strict or more challenging on you than I would be any of my normal clients. In fact, I'm probably going a little bit easier on you.
Probably. It's probably for the best.
Yeah, only because I have to live with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to recap the patterns that we've already done in waltz. Because again, your goal is 6 in the basic 6. So you have your left box, your left rotating box.
Wait, when you say left box, is that just the box?
No. For your purposes at this moment, yes.
Okay.
But no, it's not. And there's a reason why I'm making a point of saying left box.
Okay.
So left box, left rotating box, underarm turn, with or without a quarter turn for the lead. Your forward and backward progressive, that gets you to 4.
Okay.
The other 2 patterns, and we're only going to do one of them tonight, is your right box.
Okay.
So, difference between left and a right box. Left, you're starting forward on your left in your box. Right, you're going forward on your right in your box. More accurately, you're going backwards on your right in a left box, and you're going backwards on your left in a right box.
Okay, well, I have to ask then, because obviously this is probably a trap question, but I feel like everything I do is forward on the left.
Yes.
When you say left box, right box, I assumed it was which way I was going to move, not which foot I would start on, which seems very counterintuitive here.
Yeah, so your left box becomes your left rotating box, which is turning to the left, which becomes your reverse traveling turn, which turns clockwise in rotation. Your right box becomes a right rotating box, turning to the gentleman's or the lead's right, which becomes your natural turn, or natural traveling turn, which turns counterclockwise around the room.
I don't know what any of that means.
You do not have to at this exact moment in time.
Good.
Visual explanation.
Please.
Can you use our lovely cat scratch toy? Okay. Left box. I'm going to start in my lovely back corner. Going forward on my left and backwards on my right around a stationary spot.
Sure.
In the floor. Yes?
Yeah, just like a rumba.
Just like a rumba, just like a waltz box step. So that's your left box. My right box, because you're a lead, because you like starting on your left, we're going to do 1 progressive basic, same as the half of a box. 1, 2, 3. I now have my right foot free. So I'm going to go forward on my right and backwards on my left around a stationary spot. Now, here's the big thing. Because we did that prep step to get into it, I'm going to need to do half to get out of it, so that way I'm free on my left again. So, one more time for those practicing at home, and I'm going to kind of keep our stationary item visual as I describe this. So I'm going to go forward on my left, side with my right, close my feet. That's my 1, 2, 3 of a progressive. Then I'm going to step forward on my right for 4, side with my left for 5, close my feet for 6, backwards on my left for 1, side 2, close 3, and then I'm going to get out of it by doing another half, 4, 5, 6. Now my left foot's free and I can continue forward down the floor. If you are a follow, we're going to be doing the same thing. So for us, our left box, our left basic box, we're going backwards on the right, side together, forward on the left, side together. At the point that our partner decides to switch to our right box, We're going to do our first half, so I'm going backwards on the right side together, and then I'm going to continue backwards left side together, forward now on my right side together, back on my left side together, and then I can continue down the floor with my right.
All right.
Questions on
So none of my steps actually change.
You're just doing,
I'm just doing a half step. Yeah, I'm just changing the order very, very slightly.
Yes.
Okay.
For my more analytical people, you can 100% think of this as 2 forward progressives, 1 back progressive, and then a forward progressive. Because your forward progressives can work on either side.
Sure.
But big takeaway, if you are doing stationary stuff and you're going forward on your left, backwards on your right, it's a...
What?
Forward on the left, backwards on the right.
Well,
means
it's the original box.
Which
so
is
a left box.
And if you're going forward on your right and backwards on your left.
It's a right box.
There we go. So
right.
Let's try that.
What are we trying?
We're going to do 1 left.
Okay.
Transition. 1 right. Half to get out.
Okay.
So we have
beach ball.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Backwards on your other foot. 1, 2, 3. Forward on your right. 4.
You know, this shouldn't have suddenly become this hard.
I love it. I love it because, you know what? The folks that are trying it for the first time at home are definitely having that same what in the world moment.
Yeah.
So let's try that again. So left box to start.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do a half. Forward on your right. Now switch back on your left. 1, 2, 3, forward right. 4, 5, 6.
All right.
Yes. We're going to do that 2 more times.
Okay.
And then I wanted to save the last 5 minutes for you just to lead me.
Sure.
Now that I scrambled your brain.
I'm not going to be leading through this. Sure.
And left, 2, 3, back. Good. Half left. Forward right. Back left. Forward right. Yes. Very nice. One more time. We're going to move slightly more towards the center
Sure.
of our stage. Left box first. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half. 1, 2. Forward on the right. 2. Back on the left. 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Yes. Now, little trick that I've picked up over the years. When you are counting this, some people will just count it as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Every single half is 1, 2, 3.
Makes sense.
I prefer to count it as my full 6 count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way, if I ever count 1, my leads know that they're starting on their left. 4 is always their right. For follow, 1 is always my right. 4 is always my left. That way, regardless of whether I'm doing a left box or a right box, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So that way, if you ever have the question, which foot should I be on? Is it a 1 or is it a 4? And that'll help with some of the confusion I found.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Only for you. I'm going to put on one more song.
Okay.
And I'm just going to have you lead me through.
All right.
If you want to get rid of the right box for right now, you absolutely can.
I very much do want to get rid of the right box for now.
Okay. For those of you that are practicing at home, this is a great opportunity for you to practice as well, just mixing things up. So you have your left box, left rotating box, which you can do however many 90-degree turns you want. You've got your forward and backward progressive. You've got your underarm turn, and if you want, you can try your right box, but you absolutely do not have to add that in tonight. All right, well, we're going to try it with music.
Still a slow one, I hope.
And let me know if you have any questions in the chat or clarifications, because we will take a look at those here in a moment. slightly faster, but it's still slow.
It's the same one we've been doing, isn't it?
No.
This is a different song?
It is.
This song sounds exactly the same to me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It is a little faster.
2. Is it too fast?
No, I just, I need someone to specifically count it for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Just keep going.
5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3,
I don't remember any of the other songs.
5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4,
No,
5, 6. Okay.
Blame that one on me.
No. So that is the result of losing a little bit of that forward pressure and not lowering. So the transition, so what happened was we were doing a back step.
Yes.
And you had kind of gotten me into this rhythm of forward half, back half. And then you went to transition forward. And I didn't get the signal as a follower that you were making that directional change.
I probably didn't know ahead of time.
Well, that will also help as well. Having a game plan or having a blueprint is something that I talk to my students all the time about. It's like, know where you want to go, know where you are intending to go before you try and lead your partner there.
I can promise you I didn't know where I was going.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
So thus ends the lesson. We'll chat for a little bit because I think I saw as I was coming over for music that there were a couple of questions and clarifications. So I'm going to send you over to one of the laptops to check in on the chat.
Sure.
And see what questions or clarifications we need to be made.
Neither. At the moment, it's just people telling me that I shouldn't be discouraged by not knowing what the hell I'm doing.
Well, let's get, okay, read some of the stuff off.
Sure. You've got a Thornbird who says, I literally got the same feedback when I started. Don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
And he says that he's referring to pushing with the arms.
Yeah, the frame, honestly, is, I think, both the most important thing to learn early on, and it tends to be the most challenging, the most frustrating, because it is, at least for me, it was kind of that light bulb moment when I suddenly got with a much more advanced dancer and got into frame. I was like, oh, that's what my instructor has been asking from me for however many months.
Yeah.
There is a different feeling when the frame finally kind of locks in place.
Well, and I will say, like, since you teach this, you end up being on both ends of it, both as a lead and a follow.
I do.
Which probably makes it a little bit clearer what is supposed to happen.
Yes.
As a person who's never been a follow, I don't know what I'm... Sure. I don't know what I've never received it, therefore I don't know what I'm supposed to be giving.
Yes, and that's why if you are a lead and you've taken lessons with me, you know, oftentimes if we're hitting the same stumbling block over and over and over again, I will lead them. So I will ask my leads to be follows for a moment, or vice versa. I'll have my follow try to lead me to see if they can feel the feedback that I'm receiving from them. I am a big believer that everyone should cross-train. So if you are a leader, you should learn the follow steps, even at a very basic beginner level. And if you're a follower, you definitely should learn how to lead at a basic level. So that way you can understand and appreciate when things are going really, really well.
And let me ask you one other question that I'm positive I know the answer to.
Mm-hmm.
When I messed that up earlier, and you were giving me the root cause analysis, so to speak, you commented on the fact that maybe the connection was off or whatever, and you also said something about the rise or fall not being where it was supposed to be. Are you implying then that the rise and fall is a necessary part of leading?
It's a complicated answer. So if everything else is stellar, if your frame is on point, if your timing is on point, if your pressure with your partner and your connection with your partner is on point, you can lead a very rudimentary social dance waltz without rise and fall perfectly.
But let's assume you do everything poorly, including the rise and fall. Does it help or does it hurt? Okay.
Yeah, it helps. At a very high level, that rise and fall can communicate so much to a follow. Because you change how you apply that rise and fall to the point on your foot. I'm going to keep the technical jargon very short, but we did the exercise where you're going forward on your toes and then back on your heels.
Yeah.
If I am planning on going forward, I am going to prep my lowering action by going backwards. So I'm scooping under, almost like I'm pulling back an arrow, or I'm curling under to then step forward and through. If I'm planning on going backwards, I will actually go on the front of my foot, curling forward to then scoop under.
That seems counterintuitive. And I'll just leave it there.
That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. Waltz is like an ocean wave. It curls. It scoops. I know, hippy dippy, artsy nonsense. Yeah. So that scooping action or that crashing action is incredibly important. What else do we got?
No, that's it. Someone else said that was cool.
Awesome. Yay. So glad that you enjoyed it. Yeah. Next week, the plan is to round out the 6.
Which leaves Foxtrot.
It leaves Foxtrot.
Of course it does.
I'll see if I can't convince you that Foxtrot is a good... I know your hang-up is on music, and unfortunately, free audio library is maybe not going to be the thing that convinces you.
It's all going to sound like Frank Sinatra.
It will.
Yeah.
It definitely will.
Yeah.
But again, I like Frank Sinatra. Yeah. I like Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
I like those artists.
I'll live with it.
Yeah. So we'll finish out next Friday with Foxtrot, and then maybe the following week we'll do a quick lead and follow technique workshop before we finish off the 6 basic 6. So kind of at the turning point, we'll talk a little bit more about lead and follow.
All right. So Friday then is Foxtrot. Yep. What is Wednesday? Just work backwards.
Wednesday is a wedding. We've done wedding waltz. We've done nightclub. We've done bachata. Let's loop back around and do some wedding rumba.
Okay.
Let's play with
It'll be indistinguishable from what we did this evening, probably.
It will be different. It'll be different. Again, with the weddings, I'm more exploring ways that you can adapt what we do in ballroom to make it not feel ballroom, and also how to show off both members of the couple in a way that creates really nice photos and really nice video, because really that's the goal of the first dance, is to get those photos, to have those memories. So we'll do wedding rumba on Wednesday, and then Monday for our live video / podcast, we have the amazing James Cook. He is a West Coast instructor, all-star West Coast dancer, I believe, based out of Utah. He and his partner Molly have competed all over the world, literally all over the world. But obviously they are grounded for the moment. Yeah. So I'm going to check in with him, get some tips and tricks about the West Coast community, because I am still a newcomer to that world, and just talk to him about what it's like to be preparing for competition when you can't actually go compete.
And I'll probably offend someone if I get this wrong, but is he the guy who's always at the Gallatin Center?
I believe he and Molly have taught a couple of the Gallivan Center events. I think you are thinking of Lindy, though. I think you're thinking of Anthony.
I don't know. There was some swing guy at the Gallivan Center that we met for one of their live jazz nights.
That was Anthony.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Yeah, when you think swing, you're thinking like Charleston, like high energy.
I don't know that I'm thinking anything, to be honest.
Which is much more the Lindy end of the world.
Yeah.
West Coast is more like social club street dance. I would refer to it as. James is going to be very upset that I just referred to it that way. But it's a little bit more schmoozy. It's a little bit softer.
Well, there's yeah.
And then there's just East Coast, which is my favorite of the swings, which is difficult, challenging, and way too perky.
And which one did we do?
We did East Coast.
Okay.
We did both single time and triple time East Coast swing.
Well, I think we attempted the triple time. I don't know that it went especially well.
Fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough. Any other questions from chat before we wrap things up for this evening? We're going into weekend number 5. Next week will be week 6 of streaming and of quarantine.
Yeah.
Which is so fun. So fun. I feel like I'm finally getting into the groove of how this works. I'm going to jinx it, but I feel like our tech setup is finally figured out.
Yeah, I would like to say, although I don't know if it's true, that I think all of the tech stuff has worked splendidly this evening. It doesn't seem like anything is broken. Sound is working. Video is working.
Yeah.
The camera has not turned itself off
Yet.
I think we're all good.
I think we finally figured it out. Yeah. But you were definitely chomping at the bit to get out of the house. You were like, I need to go back to the office as quickly as possible.
I would be very happy to get back to the office at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I need to be walked, and I need a little structure in my life.
There you go. There you go. Well, hopefully you guys have a safe and wonderful weekend, and we will see you back 10 a.m. 10 a.m. I know it's morning on Monday for our live podcast with James Cook. So between now and then, hit me up on social media. I'll put a questionnaire out somewhere tomorrow about what questions you might have for him, or just stop by and pop them in the chat. I'm really excited for him. Oh, big news, exciting news. I haven't even told you. Our podcast is officially up on iTunes.
Okay.
And Stitcher. And Spotify. If you want a podcast, if you listen to podcasts on other devices or other sources, let me know.
And just to be clear, when you say the podcast, you mean the Monday
morning interview with Amanda. Yes. So if you missed this past Monday's interview with Amanda, you can find it on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify. Just search for either Love.Live.Dance. Hopefully you can find it under that, or Monday Morning Coffee Talk. I need to find a better name for it.
That might be a polluted namespace.
I need to find a better name for it. Search, well, it's under both. I will also make sure that it's up on my social medias and on our website, links to all of those. But yes, so excited. We finally got approved. So that should be available for your consumption. No music intro. We're going to try out a music intro this week, and hopefully that makes it a little bit more interesting than the dead silence for 2 seconds before the podcast actually starts.
Was that because there was a copyright strike, or because you didn't have any music entered originally?
Because we didn't have any music in it originally, because I didn't think about it until after we had already pressed the live button.
You know, you can do that in post.
I know.
Yeah. But
I want to have an authentic podcast experience.
It wants to sound like shit until it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go back and fix that someday.
There you go. All right, let's end it there before the camera decides to die on us.
Do the Star Wars treatment. You can go back and revisit it 5 years from now.
Airbrush it. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you Monday. Keep dancing. Stay safe. You guys know the drill. Bye.